I am.
Go through. Thanks. Bless our house.
So this is what he's going to let us into, so to speak.
All right, we're done here.
Our work is finished. That's what I figured.
That was awesome.
Well, not just an incredible. I'd hold that out the side of the car while we're going up.
Yeah.
We should just like those again. Look at the concrete. Why would you have a hotel in a dairy?
Well, after this was used by the evangelical or church group or Christian group, the Department of Defense took ownership of this sometime around, well, World War II. Between that time and 1950s, there's kind of a gap, and we think the Christian church was here and then the DOD took this over. Anyway, they were using this to test some of their new equipment, including radar for the U-2 spy plane. And when the spy plane was shot down in around 62, I believe, with Gary Powers, they closed this facility down, and the Held family took over, and the Held family still owns it today. When they took over, they found a lot of equipment left over by the Department of Defense and the government. So their job basically is to keep this place in sort of arrested decay, not doing any work to restore it. They're just sort of letting it be as it is. And it's been used for a lot of movie sets. They store a lot of equipment and everything here. The interesting part about all this is this has an incredibly huge retaining wall with like 3-foot thick concrete. The rebar is massive. They have space you can put probably a UFO inside. It's so big. And for a dairy, this is very, very unusual. Keep an eye on the Hoogies. I guess he'll bring them. That was a male voice. We just heard another voice down there.
I missed it.
So I've got the meters. I've got some new stuff in the car. They've used it on a couple shows where you have alligator clips attached to the devices, and they're like the trigger object things, but you can attach the alligator clips to a specific object, and it'll give off a reading if somebody goes to grab for it. So Mike is going to get a gun and a knife from World War II. We're going to bring them down there and use them as trigger objects.
There's been a cryptozoological story associated with this, and that's has to do with the Billiwhack monster, named after a monster that was said to be created by August Ruble during his work as as we call it, a dairy farmer slash agent for the OSS, which is a precursor to the CIA. Anyway, he was supposed to have been working with genetics and created a half-man, half-beast, which has been sighted since the 1920s and 30s all over this valley, all over Santa Paula, and even at the Camulos Ranch where August ended up moving. That is one of the stories. This has hundreds and hundreds of ghost stories. Today, we were allowed in by Mike Held, who's one of the brothers whose father actually ended up purchasing this in the 60s. And there are stories, numerous stories of apparitions, bright lights, strange noises, people following people, disembodied footsteps. In the main building, which I'm standing in front of, there's been a lot of activity. I've come in with EVP, and even today we've played back some of the EVP, and we've gotten a lot of strange sound. So there's been a lot of ghost stories, not only the cryptozoological stuff, which is quite interesting, although nobody's been able to really piece this together as far as whether August actually created a half-man, half-beast, but you know, imaginations go and folklores and legend. Anyway, the ghost stories that are associated with this are really numerous. Not only the kids that have come up here who may have or may not been drinking, but the people who have owned this place have seen a lot of apparitions, heard noises. I mean, they stay late here, and they call one of the basement rooms actually the ghost room. And the father would say, if you don't behave, I'm going to send you down in the ghost room. And the kids would absolutely start behaving because nobody wanted to go down there alone. We went down there today and captured some pretty interesting EVP, females and males. We do know that probably not probably, that during World War II, this was used for some kind of testing. It may have been equipment associated with the U-2 plane, but they were doing a lot of different experiments and testing here. probably radar. And it's a very secluded canyon. I mean, really on all sides there's mountains. In the back of this place there's a huge hill. In the front of this place is a retaining wall that's unbelievably massive. I mean, it's you know, maybe 1,000 feet long, and it's really thick. There's supposed to be bunkers under here. There's tunnels that lead from different buildings. There are 3 silos that were used for grain silos. A lot of white lights, shooting lights, apparitions, knockings, people feeling being followed. It's never, they've occurred here, but the thing is, it's never really been investigated. Because it's private, they don't allow anybody in. I got to know the people through my archaeological work, so Mike was one of the brothers. He allowed me to come into this place with 3 other people, and we're here today going down in the basement actually to try to get some voices, which we got. So I think overall we're just slowly sort of bringing out the history of the paranormal at this place. And again, it's by invite only. They do patrol this, and they will kick you out if you don't have access to this place. So right now we're in a preliminary phase of just seeing if this is haunted and trying to confirm some of the reports of the apparitions. I think this has more apparition stories than most places that I go to. So that's really interesting. And when we were downstairs, at least 3 times, so we saw men walking across to just out of the corner of our eye, and a couple of them were wearing brown suits, and some were you could just barely see a haze, but they were going by, and most of us saw this. So it'll be interesting over time. If we get back here, he wants us to do an overnight investigation. We will see if we can capture some amazing stuff and, you know, bring this story to light. And there you have it.